Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we've got your Week 17 start and sit video for the running back position. Again, we are talking championship week for fantasy, so hopefully you guys are watching this is because you guys are in the championship, and of course, if you guys are watching it just because you enjoy some fantasy football talk, hopefully you guys are here for that as well. Now, again, if you haven't already, check out our start and sit video for the quarterback position. And of course, smash that subscribe button to stay tuned for our start and sit video for the wide receiver and of course, tight end position. And then stay tuned for the rest of the offseason with a lot of great rookie content, dynasty content, and more for this offseason. Now, these are your starting running backs that I believe should be an obvious, right? Like these guys obviously got to be in your lineup, no matter what the matchup is or just because of the opportunities. Like these guys, I feel comfortable without question. Now, the first running back I'm going to recommend as a good start is going to be Austin Ekeler versus the Broncos. It's crazy to say that going into the season, Ekeler would have been where he is right now. Of course, running backs when they get to a certain age can have some regression, but nobody saw that coming for Ekeler, at least not this soon. Now, going against the Broncos, this is a great matchup. Last matchup they played, Ekeler had 21 fantasy points with a touchdown on the ground and 5 receptions. Realistically, the Broncos allow about 5 to 6 receptions per game, so that's a great opportunity for Ekeler. You've got Easton Stick at quarterback still, and then, of course, a possible no Keenan Allen. There's a good chance he gets shut down for the rest of the season, so Ekeler really is the guy for this team. I do expect a good performance out of him. I don't know if he'll quite meet that 100 yards on the ground. I think he's going to be more of the 60 to 70 yards, about 5-6 receptions, and get you close to that 18 to 20 point range. Another running back I like this week is going to be DeAndre Swift versus the Cardinals. Look, Arizona just gave up over 100 yards to Khalil Herbert. Like nothing against the guy. He just hasn't been consistent or effective all season. I know there were a lot of hope for him, but he just hasn't been that guy for the Chicago Bears. But he just had a great game against the Arizona Cardinals, and Cardinals are struggling against the run, right? Cardinals are allowing 22 points a game to running backs, 123 yards on the ground, and Swift just had a great game last week. He finally got a touchdown where he didn't get down to the 1. He really should have 2, but of course the tush push, or whatever you want to call it, brotherly love, whatever it is. Of course, Jalen Hurts tends to get most of those. Do I expect Swift to have a touchdown this game? Absolutely. I think this is going to be a great game for him. I do expect him to get over 100 rushing yards, a couple receptions here or there. I like this matchup for Swift. Another running back I like this week is going to be Josh Jacobs versus the Colts. Now, this could also be Zamir White. You got to keep an eye on Josh Jacobs has dealing with injury. He was sick last week as a last minute missing in the game. So Zamir White would definitely be a good one. He had over 140 yards on the ground. But if Josh Jacobs does play, I like Jacobs as well. The Colts are allowing 108 yards on the ground, a touchdown per game as well. So the matchup is really, really good. They're going to obviously utilize the run. Again, just allow Aiden O'Connell to not have all the pressure on him, allow him to get some short passes, some play action, because of course, anything for a young or rookie quarterback, you've got to give him a good running game. Again, I like Zamir White or Josh Jacobs, whoever gets the start in this one. Now, the first running back I'm going to mention as a sit, it's got to be James Conner versus the Eagles. Look, Philly holds running backs to 72 yards on the ground, and they have yet to allow a 100-yard rusher. Now, James Conner could be that guy. Possibly. I don't expect it, right? Like you're dealing with a possibility of Kyler Murray not playing. We'll see what's going on with the injury stuff going on there. But Conner, to be effective, who has been effective the last 3 games, really does rely on the touchdown and red zone activity. And that's just something that Philly just finally gave up, I think 4 touchdowns all in the last 4 games. So there's a possibility like they've struggled stopping the touchdown to the running back. But realistically, overall, all season, they've only given up 6 all season. I don't expect a big game. I expect Philly to be up. I expect Philly to put this where essentially negating the running aspect for the Cardinals. They're going to be forced to pass a lot just to try to keep up. Another running back I don't like this week is going to be Saquon Barkley versus the Rams. Rams have been great against the run, holding backs to under 80 yards on the ground and haven't allowed a touchdown since week 9. And realistically, I get it. Barkley's obviously the clear weapon and offensive player that really everyone's going to hone in on for the Giants. And I expect the Rams to do the same. I expect, linebacker like Ernest Jones. I expect their defense to really put a lot of focus on Saquon, where he's going to have some chances that he's going to get plenty of touches, whether it be in the air or on the ground. I just feel like there's not going to be a lot of red zone opportunities. I feel like the only way he's going to have any success is he's got to get a lot of receptions his way. I just feel like this is going to be a game that the Rams could hold him in check. Like the Rams just held Kamara in, I think it was 8.5, 8.8, something like that. It was like under 9 points in fantasy. Kamara's done a really good job all season. So I do have some worry with Barkley. I get it. You're going to have to play some of your studs like Saquon, but I think there's other options you could possibly do. Now, Khalil Herbert, I'm going to mention him as a sit against the Falcons because somebody is going to want to start him. Somebody saw last week and thought, wow, maybe this is a matchup against the Falcons. And if you haven't done any research, the Falcons have actually done a really good job against the run. They allowed their first touchdown on the ground to a running back last week, to Jonathan Taylor. And that's Jonathan Taylor. And even with that touchdown, Jonathan Taylor only had 10 fantasy points. So it wasn't even a great outing as far as fantasy aspect goes. So I don't expect Khalil Herbert to have anything close to that. I don't expect a touchdown. I don't expect a lot of yards on the ground. I expect I think really a close game between both, Chicago and Atlanta. I think Fields has some success because, again, he does have the ability to run. He did that last week. He put up some good points. I just don't think Herbert should be in your lineup, but someone's going to ask that question, so I had to put him in here. Now, my sleeper of the week is going to be Najee Harris versus the Seahawks. Seattle's allowing just under 100 yards on the ground, but they are allowing a touchdown per game as well. So that's where the opportunities are for Najee. Ever since Matt Canada had left the offensive coordinator position, actually, Najee has been the better back, or at least getting the opportunities, and especially the red zone activities. Jaylen Warren, unfortunately, has been getting less touches since that change has happened. Not saying you have to sit Jaylen Warren, but he's going to be more of a play for a deeper league than I would say a regular 10, 12-man roster that is more of a normal condensed roster. Najee, I think, is going to be a nice flex play this week because, again, if they get close to the red zone, he's the one who's going to get the opportunities. And, again, Seattle does allow a touchdown per game. So I like Najee as a nice little flex. So my start, sits, and sleepers for Week 17. Again, if you guys haven't, check out our start and sit video for the quarterback position. Smash that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button as well. Check out our other start and sit videos. Again, make sure you guys have that notification bells on because we're going to be talking a lot of Dynasty and rookie content after the season ends. Hopefully you guys have a great new year, and I'll check you guys out next time.